They said they will implement restructuring, that it is not good for one zone to produce all the security chiefs. You see, it is not good, but it is good for one zone to occupy all party positions. You see how Nigerians are. That is debate on television, because everybody wants Nigerians. Oh yes, he said the right thing. But no Nigerian want to say, let us start from this one now. Starting from this one, we will know what you will do when you get there. It's not true. Start from the party.
The Rivers State Governor also promised logistic support to the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi whenever it comes to campaign in the state.
Anytime you want to come to campaign in the state, let me know. All the logistic support we will give to you. Listen, don't misinterpret me. All I said, as somebody he has honored to come and commission my project without saying that it's not in my party. It means too, when he comes here for campaign, he needs vehicles to lead him to some local government or to some municipalities. He's a former governor, as a presidential candidate, a very humble one. As a state government, we will also give him support to go for his campaigns.
Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi says he will negotiate with his supporters to cede the governorship position to the PDP in Rivers State if the PDP agrees to support his presidential ambition. Mr. Obi said this during the commissioning of the Impolu-Oroworoko flyover. He said Labour Party is open for negotiation with the PDP.
I've listened to what you said, and I should advise Labour people that they should be careful about the state. I will talk to them. Nyande will negotiate. I'll say, Ogasikwana, Enyendeba. So, Arab State, Arab Line Center. If you leave state for them, you can leave president for us now. So, we will negotiate it. You know you're in charge. And we will not quarrel with you. Anybody who quarrels with you doesn't know what he's doing.
Mr. Obi also promised to transform the country if elected president in 2023.
I assure you of our commitment to build a better Nigeria. Our past will not be our future. Those people are our past, and that represent the future of Nigeria. And I've told Nigerians, hold me responsible. I know what it takes to turn around this country. I will not give an excuse. I will change Nigeria. Take it on tape that I said I know the problem of Nigeria. Nigeria is not productive.
Meanwhile, Opunabo Nkotaria, a former special advisor to Governor Nyesom Wike, has described Executive Order 22 as anti-democratic. Mr. Nkotaria tells our correspondent that the order is a threat to the peace in the state and urged Rivers people to stop the order from gaining legitimacy.
These executive orders are draconian, anti-democratic, and must not be allowed by Rivers people. These executive orders are capable of stimulating crisis, stimulating unrest in Rivers State. When legality is antithetical to democratic ethos and principia and is a threat to the peace and unity of a state, that legality, to the extent of its antithesis, must not be allowed to outdistance legitimacy.
Some stakeholders in Rivers State have warned that electoral violence during the 2023 general elections may be worse than what was witnessed in 2019. Their comment follow recent reports of political violence and the signing of Executive Orders 21 and 22. A professor of sociology and development at the University of Port Harcourt, Professor Sofiri Juan Peterside, tells correspondent Soibi Ruwari that if the means of reaching out to the electorate is reduced, electoral violence will be inevitable. Professor Sofiri Juan Peterside suggested that the state government should ask political parties to pay cautionary deposit instead of asking them to obtain approval before using public facilities. Similarly, a member of the Central Working Committee of the Partners for Peace in the Niger Delta, Livingstone Membere, said if the trend of electoral violence in Rivers State is not checked, it will be worse than that of the 2019 general elections. Mr. Membere also said his organization will release the 2023 election analysis when it concludes its investigation and data collection on possible errors that will witness electoral violence. Ahead of the 2023 elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission says it will address all issues raised concerning the National Register of Voters. Recall that INEC this month published the register on its website for the first time in the nation's electoral history. However, many Nigerians have identified numerous cases of underage voters and double registration. In a statement signed by the National Commissioner, Festus Okoye, INEC said it was committed to cleaning up the register and punish those found guilty of tampering with its integrity. Still ahead, Rivers State House of Assembly approves over 500 billion naira for 2023 to 2025 midterm expenditure framework. Stay tuned. We go for a quick break.
I, Honorable Barrister George Ariolu, on behalf of the Vice Chairman, leaders, elders, opinion leaders, and the entire people of Obiakpo Local Government joyfully welcome His Excellency, Chief Barrister Nyesom Ezebo Wike, CON, GSSRS, POS Africa, Governor of the State for the opening of the world-class Nabo Graham Douglas campus of the Nigeria Law School for Hacks. I am particularly happy to also Excellency Buhari, GCFRO President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria for the commissioning of the land project, 8/18/2020, 10 a.m. I am calling asking the people of Obiakpo Local Government to turn out in their numbers and give the G5 governors
Mother of five, Beatrice Mbari, is demanding justice over grievous bodily harm inflicted on her by her husband. Mrs. Mbari, who resides at Bundu Ama in Port Harcourt City Local Government area of Rivers State, said it is not the first time her husband is assaulting her over a lover.
My husband beat me up, damaged my face. So I want Mayfi that come and help me to stop this thing so that it may bring me for eye. That's why I will know zero do well. Drag me in the kitchen, say she will kill me and nothing will happen. I beg her what I do. I beg, help me, leave me. Nobody come out to excuse me. Only one of my neighbors that come out, pursue the neighbor out. Naked me, throw me outside. Since on Thursday, I am marrying with my elderly sister with my children.
Mrs. Mbari says her husband has now been arrested and commended the officers from Central Police Station for the swift response.
That I called the girlfriend, ask her wetin make talk wey my son talk outside of him father. She carry the talk go tell my husband wetin wan make my husband do the pikin or wetin wan make the husband do me. So I no know the next topic when him come my house on Thursday night. Girlfriend now tell am from house, him from the girlfriend house. Now him come back house start to dey beat me, say why I go go talk to him girlfriend to stop this thing to no happen again. Then let her take care of her children. I no want to be with her again because she will kill me one day.
The Nigerian Police Force has told the Federal High Court in Abuja that 2 of the 15 persons who allegedly invaded the residence of retired Justice Mary Odili were among inmates who absconded from the Kuje Correctional Center during the July jailbreak. At the last adjourned date, counsel to 3 defendants, Usman Jibrin, told Justice Ikoye Maha that Aliyu Ibrahim, Shehu Jibo, and Abdullahi Adamu were not in court. He said that the 3 were victims of the Kuje jailbreak. At today's proceeding, The prosecution lawyer, Matthew Omoshon, told the court that the correctional service said only Jibo and Adamu were at large. Rivers State government has secured an interim order of injunction restraining Spar Market, one of the occupiers of Port Harcourt Mall, from going ahead with its proposed Black Friday sales scheduled to hold tomorrow. The suit filed by the Attorney General of the state restrained Spar Market, its agents, servant and or privies from holding the sales. The trial chief magistrate, A.O. Amadina, also granted an interim order restraining the Spar Market, its agents, servant and or privies from further obstructing Rivers State Commissioner for Environment and his staff from accessing the Spar facilities before, during and after the scheduled Spar Black Friday event. National Bureau of Statistics says 130 million Nigerians are poor. The NBS said this in its 2022 Multidimensional Poverty Index Survey report released in Abuja today. The figure represents 63% of the nation's population. It added that the poverty index is mostly experienced in rural areas, especially in the north, with women and children being the most affected. In business, the Rivers State House of Assembly has approved the Midterm Expenditure Framework (MTEF) for 2023 to 2025. The House proposed over 500 billion naira as total aggregate expenditure. This followed a letter presented to the House by the leader, Martin Amewule, on the request of Governor Nyesom Wike for consideration and approval by the Assembly. Leader of the House and member representing Obiakpor Constituency 1, Martin Amewule, in his submission said the document shows clearly the projection of expected revenue from the Federation account and revenue internally generated. He, however, appealed to members to give approval to the documents.
One key thing here, Mr. Speaker, is that the document is towing the line of the trend in the economy. We know what is happening with income from the oil sector. The document is also mindful of expected generation of revenue internally. So, Mr. Speaker, taking into consideration the global economy and factors that are domestic, I think that the projections and the policy statements inherent in this document are things that we can fully accept.
Also, Speaker of the House, Ikuyi Owaji Banin, ruling said the Midterm Expenditure Framework will promote economic and infrastructural development in the states.
You will find out that the total forecast budget size for the 2023 fiscal year, as explained in Section 3C as a whole, is 555,987,238 naira, of which the sum of 175 billion will be for recurrent expenditure, while 350 billion will be for capital expenditure and 18 billion will be for planning reserve.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
A Dutch court has found 3 men guilty of murder for shooting down a passenger jet over eastern Ukraine in 2014, killing 298 people. The court found that a Russian-made missile supplied from Russia and fired by an armed group under Russian control brought down flight MH17. The men, 2 Russians and 1 Ukrainian, were found guilty in absentia and sentenced to life in jail. A 3rd Russian was acquitted. The missile attack was one of the most notorious war crimes in Ukraine before allegations of atrocities there became an almost daily reality. On the news this evening, you had Governor Wike has pledged logistic support for Peter Obi's campaign. Stakeholders in Rivers State have warned of election violence ahead of 2023. Police say 2 suspected invaders of Justice Odili's home absconded from Kuje prison. EFCC says governors on its watch list have increased. EFCC says governors on its watch list have increased. On the foreign scene, a Dutch court has found 3 men guilty for shooting down passenger jet that killed 298 people in Ukraine. The news was edited by Mato Curry. Cloudy weather in Port Harcourt this evening. Collect your PVC and vote. Your vote is your voice. I am Kala Dakoribatabo. Good evening.